Namaste Gurudevaya Sarvasiddhi Pradajine Sarvamangala Rupaya Sarvananda Vidyajine. Very welcome to Sarva Shakti. Interesting question. Land one more time to my email inbox, and it reads: how to emerge victorious as a Vaishnav in everyday life in which we deal with people with strong egos. I would love to have an easy answer to this, and I would love to give you some nice, easy, light words to make you feel good, to go home and after to face the same problems and to ask, hey, something is wrong, something is not matching between the words of that sadhaka, that man on the video, and the things that I am living day after day, every day. Let's see what Bhagavad Gita first have to say about this material world. This is Bhagavad Gita chapter 8 verse 15. Mam upetya punarjanma dukhalayam ashashvatam napnuvanti mahatmanaha sansiddhim paramam gataha. Translation: having attained me, the great souls are not more subject to rebirth in this world, in which is transient and full of misery, because they have attained the highest perfection. In Bhagavad Gita, Sri Krishna, Bhagavan, God, the Ishvara, the supreme controller of everything, is revealing to us that this world is transient, is always moving, is not stable. There is no proper ground to stand in this world. And second, he said very clear, full of misery. This world is full of misery, full of pain. And because it's full of misery, full of pain, and there is not stability possible in this world. We have a stability of work in the few years coming, or maybe months even for some. The work will not be there. We are living in peace in our house, in our hand, in our land, in our country, and some earthquake came, or some tornado can hit, or something happened. Just to say 2021, 2022, what was happening worldwide. This is a extremely clear point of what Krishna is saying here. Our peace, our economy, our life are not stable, are only temporary. So everything you have is temporary. That's why it's very important to also observe, to be grateful for what you have every day. You must be grateful for what God gives you every single day. You have peace, thanks God. You have good economy, thanks God. You are living in abundance, thanks God. You open the fridge and it's full of food, bog to offer to God, and then to get food for me and for family, thanks God. You open the door or the window and nobody is robbing, or nobody is no war outside, because in this moment, this right moment, there is war in some places. And then you have to say, thanks God. You are not fighting with no one? Okay, thanks God. Thanks God for that. Because like this, it can change, absolutely change. Like this, things will not anymore be so peaceful as you are living now. So that's why you must be grateful for everything you have and to not miss what you don't have. Everything that is now, right here, right now, you must be grateful for what you have. Health, wealth, good life, peace. This is very important, because sometimes the life will take everything out from you, that you will start learning and understanding what is the purpose, what is the real meaning, and what is important in life. So Krishna here say in Bhagavad Gita 8.15, having attained me, the great souls are not more subject to rebirth in this world, which is transient and full of misery. Having attained me, what does it mean? That you attain God. You are in God consciousness. You are in Samadhi. You are in the supreme path of spirituality. There is no supreme path to spirituality more than to attain God. But to attain God, you can attain God in 3 different forms. And it depends on the path of the spiritual path that you are walking. You can attain Paramatma, Parambrahman, Bhagavan. So you can achieve God as the supreme force that is omnipresent in all the hearts in the full universe. Everything that breathes, everything that born, everything that has life is alive, there is God. And even in the stones, there is God as well. We read the beautiful story of Prahlad Maharaj and Nisinga Dev, Nisinga Bhagavan, where Hiranyakashipu, a demon king, was teasing, and more than teasing, torturing his own son called Prahlad Maharaj. Prahlad, saying, why you are meditating so much? Who is bringing your food to the table? Who is giving you shelter in this palace? Who is giving you everything you have? Education? Who is sending you to the best school? I have heard this also in my life. Everybody maybe, yeah? Walking this path of spirituality for a long time, you have heard this. The food is given by your work, by your money, etc. So this demon, because this mind that is trying to neglect, to delete, to erase God from whatever we have, is a demonic mind, is asuric mind. Then the father of Prahlad Maharaj, this is possible to study in Srimad Bhagavatam. You go to Srimad Bhagavatam and you can find the Nishingadev manifestation. And there is all the story of Prahlad Maharaj and what happened. And what happened is that Prahlad Maharaj, being just a kid, young kid, but a strong, powerful devotee, very advanced devotee, an example, he say, all of that is given to me by God. Even your life is given by God. Your power have been given by God. Everything you have been given by God to you. Even I am your son because of God's will. How? Now we can ask, how God will give power to the demons? This sounds like a nonsense, but Srimad Bhagavad Gita has an interesting verse where Krishna said, I give the power to the asuras, to the demons. How Krishna, God, Swayam Bhagavan, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Ishvara, the Supreme Controller, is giving power to the gods. And this is exactly what we must study first and understand in order to achieve one incredible point of view that crosses the ocean between materialism and spiritualism, mysticism. And this point of view is to understand that all the energy and all the power is coming from God, even for the demons. Because God himself said that he has no preferences for no one. He is here or everywhere, basically to give full realization to the souls. He's helping us with everything. If we think in our own life, all the mistakes we have been doing and all the suffering that we have been facing basically have been our own choice. Incredible to say, but it's our own choice. And of course, what I am saying must to be observed from a very deep point of view, because in every idea that I am explaining, I am quoting several shastras, several holy books, several philosophers, or everything in the same time as a synthesis to extract the sutra, the very nectarious truth. With less word, less time, more truth. This is the point. But how is possible that God will give power to the demons in the case of the father of Prahlad Maharaj called Hiranyakashipu? Yes, because all the energy is coming from God first. If somebody has power, that power is God. Even for the demons, the power they have, they create out of black magic, whatever technique they are using to produce power, fake news, lies, everything that nowadays they do, and back in time they did, and everything they do, all the energy is coming from the original energy, Sarva Shakti Mam. I am the supreme controller, I am the full energy, I am the energy of everything, is God. But because he has no preferences, because he is not limited by the ego, like you, like me, like normal human beings, he has not ego problem to say, this is my friend, this is not my friend. So that one is out of my circle, I don't help them, or it's not my family. And this one, yes, because it's my family, it's my friend. God does not do that. He has no preferences on that way. For him, every single jiva, contaminated consciousness, or atman, soul, to say soul, is the same. Under the eyes of God, everyone is same. But there is one exception. One very big exception that even Krishna said himself, the Supreme God. God said himself, I don't take party with anyone. I don't take part of anybody. But my bhakta, my devotee, he has my favor. And indeed, it's explained by the riches, by the sages, that God basically is an lover, devotee of his devotees. He is under the spell of his devotees. And the spell here must be well understood. Well, we must understand it correct. Doesn't mean that you control God in a bad way, like a black magic spell, to say. You love God so much that he is fully in love with you. Because Krishna also said that he give back love to his devotee on the same way that the devotee give. So if your vision about God is Father who is in the heaven, I am here on earth, he is pure, I am a sinner. So we are very far each other because our very nature is different. So God will love you in that way, in a very far way, far away from you, as you feel about him. But in Gaudiya Vaishnavism, and indeed in Vaishnavism, we realize God as a very close to us. First, the three ways of God. Paramatma, God is in my heart already. The second way, God is absolutely everywhere, is everywhere. The Brahman, who is inside even the atoms, neutrons, protons. God is there. Inside the heart of every animal, every living entity, in my heart and your Brahman, God is there. But also we realize something that is even superior. That is Bhagavan. That all this supreme power also has a form, has a name, and has activities. So that supreme form of Bhagavan we study as Vaishnavas. And in Vaishnavism you have different lines of Vaishnavism. Some ones are deeper in some topics of Bhagavan, and others are beyond the word even Bhagavan. And this is Gaudiya Vaishnavism, because we realize that Bhagavan is the maximum goal. But what is the root of the maximum goal? This is Krishna. And the root of all the supreme about the Vaikuntha, the spiritual worlds, the material world, highly worlds, heavenly planets, and everything, the origin of everything is Nitya Vrindavan. Nitya Lila Vrindavan, Golok Vrindavan. Do you know why? Because everything that is happening there is showing as a reflection in every single universe. Everybody fell in love. Men, women fell in love, right? This is the example of Radha and Krishna. Every single man that can be translated as in the eternal language as Purush, every single man want to be the alpha man and will wish to be in a different culture when he can have different girlfriends at the same time. And no problem, no moralities, right? This is the nature of the Supreme abode, Nitya Vrindavan. It's Krishna and the gopis. Yes. Everybody likes to have party, music and dance everywhere. Every culture on the planet Earth. And I can tell you that in every planet where is life, conscious life, there is happening the same. Maybe the music can vary, can be different in different planets. Maybe music can be different, but not much, because the musical keys, musical tones are standard. So maybe the instruments can be different, like in planet Earth, in somewhere they create the veena, they create the harp, from there is coming the guitar, from the guitar electric guitar, from the veena or the harp maybe is coming the sitar, or the sitar maybe was before, different drums. First we have the claps, right? After they realize if we hit something will make sound, then they discover drum, and all over the planet are different kind of drums, as dolak, mirdanga, djembe, drum set, drum kits from rock and roll bands. Yes? But the basic of the drum is the drum, the beat, the groove, the rhythms, the chants. If you hear the chants from different cultures, different parts of the planet, even if they are separate for 100 years or 1,000 years, that they never met different cultures, you will find similar things. Even I will go deeper, This was about 20 some years ago. I was studying music engineering. And in one class, we did a research that was incredible. We study some research made some years before about some scientists test mixed with audio music. They want to discover what is the sound of different animals and the nature. If it's something there that is possible to understand for us as music or sounds. Basically, they record the trees moving with the wind. This is the classical, typical sound that we can hear in the forest, something like. Imagine when the trees are moving, this sound of the wood, right? They record also crickets in the night, that they make some sound. And then they transform this recording to a sound that we can hear properly, that we can understand, to the sound of the crickets and the sound of the woods, the trees. They turn the speed of the audio down to a frequency that we can hear as human. And it was surprising because the sound of the trees is the sound of drums. It sounded like djembes, with rhythms and rhythm patterns. It was incredible, mind-blowing experiment. And what you can find, because I hear this a couple years ago through YouTube, is the sound of the crickets. And the crickets sound when they are all chanting together, that for us is just a very sharp, high-frequency noise. When you put it to a frequency audio that you can hear properly, like in the voice, you hear from the crickets that they are chanting, and the sound is like Gregorian chants, like the church, like in the church. Their chants sounds like angels chanting. Is incredible. Please check it out because you will be mind blown with that. So everything has the supreme power of God. The only difference, as the example I am giving, is that many times we cannot see it. So that was the example of Hiranyakashipu. I cannot see God. Show me your God. Show me your God. And he was so angry with his own son that he was not a political, joining his political party, joining his kingdom, joining this, joining that, materialistic stuff. Nothing. His son, Prahlad Maharaj, was a saint who only wanted to preach the word of God, chant the holy name of God, and to study Shastra. Then Hiranyakashipu, of course, materialistic, demonic mind, was so angry with him that he wanted to kill his own son. And he tried several times. And in one moment, big discussion, full of fire, he said, show me that your God is in the stone, in the pillar of this palace. Show me that the God is there. He was going to kill to his son with the sword. And in that moment, Hiranyakashipu said, show me that your God is in this pillar. And he hit so strong the pillar with so much hate and power, because he was powerful, that he, boom, destroyed the pillar. The pillar exploded. And from the pillar came inside a sun that was so strong, that was stronger than to see the sun in the sky with naked eye. It was so strong. And for that very pillar in this stone in the palace, God came out to protect his devotee, Prahlad Maharaj, in the form of Narasinghadev, a beautiful form of God. On a deeper layer, this all is a lila of God. He wants to do activities. He wants to have different pastimes, lilas, adventures with his devotees. So he created all these stories, basically that I can read and feel happiness and proudness of my God, and I can feel inspiration on the steps of Prahlad Maharaj. So God served us all in the most incredible ways. So all this story I can read and I can feel Ananda in my heart by reading. So Krishna, in his different expansions, he did all this and do nowadays and will do in the future for his devotees. So in that way, we can say that God is a attached to his devotees. The devotees of God, the Sadakas, the Bhaktas, are the heart of God. The Bhagavad Gita reads again, having attained me, the great souls are not more subject to rebirth in this world, which is transient and full of misery, because they have attained the highest perfection. Highest perfection is to attain the consciousness of God, to understand God, to be living God. Not that you will be God. This is wrong. It's that you will understand God. You will live for God. Later on, the next verse, shloka, in Bhagavad Gita, chapter 8, verse 16, reads, Abrahma vuvanal lokaha punar avarti norjuna mam upetya tu kauteya punar janmana vidyate. And the translation is, in all the words of this material creation, up to the highest abode of Brahma, you will be subject to rebirth, O Arjuna. But on attaining my abode, O son of Kunti, there is no further rebirth. What does it mean? That from the lower class planet on the full universe and all the universes, because this is a fractal creation. As I say, everything is a reflection from Golok Vrindavan. Everything that is happening there is happening here on a different way, but are related. It's like a hologram, to say. It's not the real world, but things look similar in somehow. So the lowest planet, the Patalas that are in the very bottom of this universe and the other universe, because everything is fractal, other universe has the same structure to this universe. To the middle line planets as this planet Earth, Bhumandal, to the higher planets, the celestial planets, or paradises, as Christians speak about paradise. Those paradises are thousands and millions and are on top of this creation. And the top of those planets is the Brahmaloka, the highest abode of Brahma, reads here, Bhagavad Gita 8.16. You will be subject to rebirth, O Arjuna. What does it mean? If you rebirth, means that you die. And if you rebirth means that you will die again and have birth again, rebirth again and again and again and again. And this samsara is called, this wheel is never ending. So whatever you do, even if you are Brahma, the supreme architect of this universe, you will face death in some point. In some moment in your life, you will face death. And all what you have been doing in this life, work, art, writing, exercises, whatever you do will die. So we should not get attached to pretty much nothing in this world. And nothing means nothing, really. But we should serve with everything we have, we do, with all what we have, we should serve to God in order to achieve God step by step and to clean up our karma. Because on service we clean our karma. So we understand again this verse, we read again, in all the words of this material creation up to the highest abode of Brahma, you will be subject to rebirth, O Arjuna. When Krishna say Arjuna, Krishna is referring to us as well, the students, his disciples, his followers, his devotees, his bhaktas. So you are Arjuna here, and he's saying, doesn't matter what you will do. If you do such a great effort, you will reborn. If you do a lot of pious activities, you will reborn in celestial planet. Even if you go to Brahmaloka, you will die. So what is the point? What is the point to work for this world if this world will die? If we go to the Bible, we have a very interesting verse also. This is John 2.16 in the New Testament. And it reads, for all that is in the world, the lust of the flesh, and the lust of the eyes, and the pride of life is not of the Father, but is of the world. Again, we are saying it's not of the Father. The Father, Bhagavan, God is not here. Even He is omnipresent everywhere. In the same time, Bhagavan, God, is not here. If we want to be in the bliss of His company, to be near Him, to serve the Father, to serve God, to love God, and to be loved for the supreme love that is God, then we should get there, because it's not here. And nothing of this world, nothing that the propaganda is promoting you to do in this world is of God. It's not of the Father. Reads very clear. It's a beautiful shloka, verse. We call it shloka in Sanskrit. Shloka, verse, is a beautiful verse. For all that is in the world, the lust of the flesh and the lust of the eyes and the pride of life is not of the Father, but of this world. And because this world is temporary, as Krishna is saying in Bhagavad Gita 8:15, is transient and full of misery, everything that is in this world will produce you pain and suffering. Because this is the nature, very nature of this material world. Another word for this reality is Mur Loka. Mur means death, the planet, the reality of death. Everything here die. Everything you will build up will die, with exception if you build up a temple for God. And this temple is not a church outside. This temple is your own heart, that starting from a polluted point of view or starting point, then you start working your sadhana, your sadachar, you behave as a devotee, you behave as a bhakta, you follow the prescription of the scriptures, you follow Hari Bhakti Vilasana Sanatana Goswami, you follow the instruction of Sri Guru, the Supreme Master, and then you will achieve the word of God. And this is Nitya Vrindavan, Nitya Lila Vrindavan, the real word of God, the supreme word of God, the supreme above, the supreme land of Krishna is Nitya Lila Vrindavan. It's the eternal pastimes of Krishna in the Nitya Lila. The Nitya Lila is not indeed something that we must expect to live when we die in this world, when we left this material body. It's a state of consciousness, that we should achieve now, and to live it in this reality. While everything outside looks like a war, hypocrisy, darkness, liars, wolves and snakes, in the same place we should concentrate on God. As I mentioned, Prahlad Maharaj, he was surrounded by snakes. His own father was the worst of the demons, but he was in lotus position, meditating the holy scriptures, in the stories of God, Bhagavan, chanting the Harinam, and speaking with his friends about God. This is what we should do to achieve that state of consciousness where doesn't matter where I am in God consciousness 24/7, and eternally will be like this. When you are in that state of consciousness, Krishna said, having attained me, the great souls are not more object to rebirth in this world. Bhagavad Gita 8:15. Later on, we can read in Bhagavad Gita 8:14, early, 2 verses earlier. It reads, Ananya chetaha tatham jomam shmarati nityashaha tashyaham sulabhaha partha nitya yuktasya yoginaha. It reads, O Partha, for those yogis who always think of me with exclusive devotion, I am easily attainable because of their constant absorption in me. Here Krishna explains what is the process, the real process. He says for those yogis, yoga is the process of connecting yourself with the Supreme. Yoga, this is yoga. Yoga is not to do exercises, some anaerobic work, as you can see yoga in YouTube. These exercises are important. Of course, your body must be healthy in order to serve. But this yoga, what Krishna said, yogis, those yogis, the yogis are the mystics, the people of spirituality. That doesn't mean religion. We're not speaking about here about Hinduism or Christianism or Islam or this or any ism. We're speaking about God realization. And this is supreme path. Paradharma. Dharma is the material path that you do in order to clean karma and to have positive karma, wealth, good family, this and that. But no, we're not talking about dharma here. We're talking about paradharma, and is superior and has not name as religion, is spirituality because it's God. For those yogis, those mystics, those spiritual people, that kind of spiritual people, supreme, who always think of me with exclusive devotion, I am easily attainable because of their constant absorption in me. This Krishna is saying how to attain the supreme, about how to achieve the supreme goal, that is God, Bhagavan, that is Krishna. Is with exclusive devotion. I am a devotee of Krishna, and that's it. I am a devotee of God, and that's it. And I act, speak, think, and feel as a devotee of God. It's not only that I say by word, my tongue will say, I'm a devotee of God, I am ready. No, I must do myself, my job, my sadhana, my practice to clean up my mind, to clean up my heart, and to prepare me in order to serve in the supreme abode that is here, right here. Actually, it's just here. When you leave this material world, you will enter in that state of consciousness that you are living. In the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna also say, whatever the person think in the last moment, at the last moment, is thinking at the last moment of his life, that will attain, that will achieve. So what you will think in the last moment of life is not that you will say, oh, I'm sorry in the last moment and you are ready. No, it must be your everyday. Because every time that you exhale, you are dying. And when you inhale, then you breathe, you are reborn. And you exhale, you are dying, you die, and you reborn. It's important to understand how pranayama works in order to understand your meditation. You can meditate in this, but every time you exhale and breathe, inhale, you think on God. Krishna said also, is one verse there in Bhagavad Gita, he said, the yogis, they sacrifice the air that is coming out and coming in, and in a state of samadhi, they meditate on God, in Him. Right. Srimad Bhagavatam has something interesting also to add to this conversation. It's Srimad Bhagavatam 1:10-21. Savai kilajam purushaha puratano ja eka ashit avishesha atmani agre gunevyo jagat atmani shvare nimilitatman nishi supta shaktisu. They say, here he is, the original Purush. As we definitely remember him, he alone exists before the manifest creation of the modes of nature, and in him only, because he is the Ishvara. All living beings merge, as if sleeping at night, their energy suspend. This verse of Bhagavatam is explaining what is happening when everything dies, because as I say in the beginning, this material world is created, then it will die. The only thing that does not die is what is never created. Anadi, that has no beginning. So the transcendental substance, the spiritual reality, is eternal, while the reality, material, is no eternal, is temporary. Then what happens when everything is destroyed? Then you as a soul go to sleep and you rest on God. And then you wake up again and you came back to this material world. But a very important topic, this does not mean that you, in that moment you can choose to serve God and you go to spiritual reality, and other souls, jivas, Atman, are a little bit more stupid, have been choosing to come to material world to suffer. It's not like that. The jivas, the Atman who are in the material world, have been always in the material world, with the exception of the Atman who are Siddha Muktas, eternally liberated, and they came to material world to perform some spiritual teaching, spiritual practice, to teach to the humankind and to teach to the souls who are all forever sleeping. And through that we can say, for example, that kind of jivas, Nityamuktas, are the big master, spiritual master from the humankind, from the past, present, and that the ones who will come in the future. But the normal jiva, contaminate consciousness, they are not like this. They are jivas who are always engage in the material reality. That's why how you can know if you are a nitya siddha or you are always slave of this dark reality. Basically, see what are your desires. What is your desire? To serve God with all your soul, or to first you have to do some work to achieve some goal in life and this and that, to material life? It gives you the perfect example. You can meditate on yourself, what kind of soul you are. If you have no attachment since you was born to this world, and no attachment means clearly no attachment to anything in this world, and you all only are searching for God, how I can achieve you, my Lord, then it's possible that you are a nitya siddha. So how to take this word when you have to fight with so many people, to live around so many people with strong egos, people who do complot against each other, against other people, even people who they don't even know. They want to troll them just because it doesn't fit to their small world. How to live with that? We must to accept the words like this, and we cannot change it, because this word is created to make you aware that this is not comfy, that this is not nice. And when you see the reality of the world, you realize that this world is not what I would like to be reborn here. So you realize, I want to really go out from here. That's why the world put so many problems to you. And the more that you develop your spirituality, the more you advance, the bigger demons you will find, the biggest obstacles you will find. But obstacles are nothing when you have the power of Bhagavan with you. When you are Arjuna and Krishna fighting in Kurukshetra, the army of the enemies was huge, and thousands and millions, but I don't care. I have no fear because I have God. This is the attitude. But don't think that the thing will get nicer and nicer the more you advance. Indeed, it's upside down, because the demons and the demoniac minds will feel tricked by you. When you are walking the path of truth, the darkness will feel tricked on you, and they want to turn you dark. They will attack, but you don't care. You have God and you are free. Jay Sri Radheshyam. I hope you enjoyed this video. Of course, do the right thing. Give like, share on your social media, and subscribe to this humble channel. I will come back with more topics to support you, spiritual warrior. See you in the next.